Hi guys, welcome back. In this video, I'll be testing and comparing the different shooting modes on the PYXIS 12K, the different resolutions, the different ISOs and the different aspect ratios. And as a bonus, I will go through the different zoom ranges and t-stops on the new g-opt 28 to 85mm lens. All of these tests are of course straight out of camera without noise reduction applied and with just a simple color space transform. Before we start, if you would like to see more of my content, then please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have a question or a video suggestion that you would like to see me make, then please do let me know in the comments down below. These resolution tests are all shot on 800 ISO in 3x2 open gate. Of course, there could always be the factor that I slightly missed focus on 4K, but I always tried my hardest to nail the critical focus in every single shot. If we start to look at the 4K image, we see that it's fine, but if we compare the 4K image to the 8K image in a 4K timeline, we can see immediately that the 4K has a lot less detail and a lot less sharpness than the 8K, which is of course surprising because you have twice as much detail. Now let's talk about the 9K image. If we look at the 9K image, we don't really see an improvement over the 8K image. Of course, the major difference is that we have a Super 35 crop, but there's not really that much gained in the resolution or sharpness aspect. I would personally only use this resolution if I need a Super 35 crop, for example, when I'm using Super 35 lenses, or I would need just a little bit more reach out of my zoom lens or prime lens on the PYXIS. Now, if we move up to 12K, without cropping in the image, there is really no difference to be seen here between the 8K and the 12K. They just look about the same. We can really start to see some difference now, where the 4K is really lacking in some sharpness, whereas the 8K is really nice and crisp. If we look at the 8K and the 9K in 200% crop, there really is no visible difference except for that slight crop that the Super 35 mode has. Also, if we look at the 8K compared to 12K, still at 200% they look identical. Now, if we start to move over to a 300% crop, of course the 4K and the 8K start to drift apart even further. You can really see that 8K doing its job right here. And again, 8K to 9K, there really is no difference. It just looks like a slightly cropped in version of the 8K. Now, if we start to look at the 8K to 12K crop, in 300%, I really would have thought that there would be way more differences at this level of crop. But to my surprise, the 8K holds up extremely well, and you really have to pixel peep and put your eye close to the monitor to see a difference here. If you look closely at his cheek, on the right side, you see just a little bit more detail in his pores in the 12K versus the 8K, but this result really blew me away. Now, if we start looking at the 400% crop between 8K and 12K, we can see that difference in his cheek just a little bit better. It also shows up in his mustache a little bit. But don't forget, we're at a 400% crop right now, because this is where we started. And if you think about that, that's what a 400% crop looks like at 12K. To me, that's still very much usable. So, in a pinch, if you need to crop in 400%, definitely shoot in 12K. Let's start looking at the different ISO ranges. Of course, again, all of these tests have no noise reduction applied unless stated. If we look at the ISO 200, the shadows are very clean. There's almost no noise visible at all. If we go up to ISO 400, the noise slightly increases, but still very well manageable. If we move up to ISO 800, the noise will creep into the midtones a little bit more. It's still manageable, but without noise reduction, you will notice it in the midtones and the shadows. I will show you the rest of the ISO range right now, before and after noise reduction has been applied. For me, the 1600 and 3200 ISO ranges are not really usable when used in an interior environment like this. I'll do another test outside in the sun in the midday on ISO 1600 and 3200 and see if the noise is less visible. The PYXIS 12K offers 5 different aspect ratios that you can shoot in natively inside of the camera. All of these examples are shot in 8K. Now let's move on to some tests on the G-Opt 28 to 85mm. These are the visual differences in the focal lengths of the G-Opt 28 to 85mm. Let's look at the differences in t-stops. The lens of course goes all the way down to T22, but for my testing I only went up to T8. For the exposure loss caused by the aperture being stopped down, I corrected this with opening up my ND. Lastly, these are 3 focus racks at 85mm, 50mm and 28mm. This will conclude my test for this video, and I must say that I'm very surprised by how little difference there is between the 8K and the 12K modes. Compared to the 4K and 8K, there is a big step up to the 8K. Thank you for making it all the way to the end, and if you liked it, please like and subscribe, and here's my Instagram in case you want to follow along with more behind the scenes content. And if you have any questions or videos you would like to see from me, then please don't hesitate to put them in the comments down below. Have a nice day!